Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport.
Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my God, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, and it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to the latest round of the Formula CDM European Series. We've arrived in the Netherlands and at the fantastic circuit Zandvoort, another legendary track to add to the list of circuits we visit here this season in this European Tour, and it is going to be an absolute corker of an evening to round out what is the first half of the season. My name's Chaz Draycott. I'm delighted to be once again joined in the commentary box by Ed May, my partner in crime. Ed, we had, let's call it a busy time at Zolder last time out, mate. Hopefully not as much chaos and carnage this time, eh?
Yeah, the stewards were certainly busy as well, but it seems like hopefully we've got a clean slate and we'll have some clean racing here tonight at Zandvoort. It is, like you mentioned, after today will be the halfway point of this European Series. Obviously, the Formula CDM split into multiple different series across the globe, but this is the sort of the European leg of said championship. Excited to see, obviously, how the rest of the championship will shape up after tonight. It was shaken about a little bit, wasn't it, with all of the incidents and, well, events that happened at Zolder, shall we say?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we've had 3 rounds so far in Spain, France and Belgium. Here in Netherlands, and we go to Germany, Hungary, Austria and then Italy to round out this tour. But yes, as Ed rightly mentions, these are the championship points at present. Aaron Smith now with a 14-point lead at the top of the table. He has got a decent gap over Fraser Smith, and Sam Fitzpatrick, after taking his first race victory of the season, now moves up into third place. Lee Aberdeen only scored 3 points back at Zolder, with Kevin Zemstra now tied with him. Hoyland and Schneebel next up, ahead of Jack Reeve, Fabio Grassetto and Alex Fretwell. In the teams championship, it's Blade Speed Esports that are starting to stretch their legs at the top, and they're ahead of the likes of DNA Motorsport and Wave Racing Tech. However, one of the teams tonight, Ed, has a new driver in tow. Unfortunately, said driver is not out on the circuit at the moment, so we can't look at them right now. But we have a new driver in the field, and it's a name that a number of people that follow iRacing and know of iRacing will certainly know, isn't it?
Yes, it is Keo Marteau, right up at the sharp end. Not on circuit, so we can't shine the light on him just yet, but so it's going to be very exciting to see how he gets along. Obviously, faster than, well, a driver that's been right at home in this Indy 2000. Lee Aberdeen has really taken to this car like a duck to water, but seems like he's going to have some really stiff competition coming up. Obviously, practice is only going to be around for the next 30 minutes or 30 seconds or so, and 30 seconds is funnily enough now the interval, isn't it, for qualifying, Chaz? It was 20 seconds. Now it's 30 seconds where the drivers will have to basically stagger their arrivals onto the circuit.
Yes, so we've had quite a lot of development after Zolder. The drivers, I must give a big thanks to the drivers for being so on board about everything. So the fuel limit has changed in the session to now be 75% rather than 50, so the cars cannot make it until... Sorry, there was no fuel limit previously, is what I'm saying. It's now gone down from 100% to 75, so the cars will not likely make it to the end of the race if they pit in the first, say, 8 to 10 laps, especially around here at Zandvoort. So that has been changed. We've got 30 seconds between the cars heading out on track now, rather than having 20 seconds. And we will have the first car out on track as the man himself, actually, Thiago Marteau, Williams Esports driver. And he's going to be, I'm sure, flying. He's at his home race as well to start the season. He'll head out on track when that timer in the top left hits 17:30. Ever the professional as well, by the way. As soon as I said he was in, he was messaging me straight away, right, let me sort these numbers out, let me sort my wheel colours out, here's my helmet, here's my entry fee. Really professional, Thiago Marteau, and I must thank him for that. He's been an absolute superstar since the moment I messaged him to say he was in. He, unfortunately, though, for another driver, is taking a seat of somebody else. Unfortunately, Christian Rose had a complete PC meltdown the other day, and he is backed out of the series as a result. We've also had Chris Humphreys resign from the series with immediate effect as well. He's focusing on other things, and we look forward to seeing how at least Keo can get on tonight, because unfortunately we don't have another reserve to take the seat at Spontex CDM Esports of Chris Humphreys. But just to show you how this works then,
Michael Jones is now waiting to head out on the circuit. There's a couple of cars further down. It would next up be Victor Oliveira, but he's missing this round of the championship, so Keogh is the only one that we can see. Funnily enough, though, Ed, he may end up going fastest, because, I mean, based on what he did in practice, it was pretty disgusting time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2/10 faster than Lee Aberdeen, who, as we know, is very quick in these single-seaters, fastest in the sort of the pre-qualifying for the final season of Formula 1. And then also, well, such a strong peddler in, well, this championship as well, isn't he? One of the main protagonists for the title. We'll see, though, what Keogh can do to try and dethrone him. On board we go, in towards the turn 1.
Hard onto the brakes then, lots of elevation to think about here at Zandvoort, but this is his home circuit. He's going to know this one better than any other. Lots of curb over on the left-hand side, and again here, using every inch of the road, but look at the understeer from this car. It's incredible how much it understeers for a little Formula car, into the bowl there at the long left-hander up over the crest of the hill, and then I love this view as they come flying up towards our camera to then head up and over the crest. Up at nearly top speed of this car as well, nearly getting into 6th gear there. We still don't have another car out on track, by the way, because there is such a gap and there's 3 drivers in a row missing that would then go next up. So Keogh is basically going to get a lap of full airtime all on his own. We are still getting people ask where the actual quali standings are. But you can see he is really pushing right now, isn't he?
Yeah, really pushing, and now here we go through this chicane. Get the direction change right, don't overshoot, really hugging it nice and tight as well, using all of the runoff area to great effect. And now final corner, just one little downshift and then flat out again, ever so close to touching the gravel. Really strong lap this from Thiago Marteau. We'll see over the line what everyone else will now have to try and chase.
Will we? Oh, there we go.
Time, and it's a 1 minute 28.769.
Very quick time indeed. The guys were expecting earlier in the week that the fastest drivers will be doing 1:28s. I think Michael Jones was actually quite late going out on track. He should have been out on track with 16.5 minutes left to go, and he hasn't completed his full outlap yet, so I'm not quite sure what the situation is there. He's joined by Philip Miles of Hikawa Racing. This gorgeous blue and white machine making its way around now. A few more drivers ready to head out. Simon Price is next in the Team Verde car. Lovely looking blue and green machine. Also Connor Hatfield, the now lone driver at Spontex CDM Esports, will be next to head out onto the circuit. You can see him just waiting there. Connor was really happy after Zolder by being the first driver in the team to get points. He got his first championship point on the board, did Connor, and he will be over the moon with that, and I'm telling you, he will ride that wave of positivity to the end of the season. Michael Jones then on his lap. Michael having a bit of a tough start to the season so far, struggling a little bit with the behaviour of this car, but then again, who isn't really, Ed? It's a tricky little beast, isn't it?
So hard. You can see he's just trying to fight the car at every single opportunity, putting the power down. And I mean, that lap time from Thiago, we were obviously seeing what lap times drivers were doing in practice, very similar. He's not got the tyres fully up to temperature. That's the thing about this qualifying session, is that you're having to push on, well, a suboptimal sort of set of tyres beneath you. You haven't got all the temperature. The car's going to be trying to fight you at every single opportunity, and to put a lap together like that and to have it look so easy as well, he didn't really seem out of control for any point. Well, that's going to take some beating.
It really is. You can hear the revs spiking here and there as well, even on board with Michael now. You can hear as he comes out of the corner, the car trying to rotate those rears a little bit more than is ideal. And you can see him just adjusting the wheel a tiny bit here and a tiny bit there. He comes round to complete his qualifying lap. Just one more corner to go. Philip Miles is just over halfway around his lap. Simon Price has begun his fast lap as well. Danny Weir, funnily enough, in an identical part of the circuit, is on there. Michael Jones crosses the line, and he sets a lap time that is 1:33.1, 4.3 seconds down, 4.4 give or take, but at the end of the day, That is probably going to be the maximum spread in the field. Michael, he's going to get a slap on the wrist for that. I've asked them in the briefing to do a full in-lap, and he has not done so. He's going to get a big slap on the wrist for that one. Just doesn't look great when you just pull over and give up at the side of the road. Either way, Philip Miles, he didn't pull up or give up at any point at Zolder, did he? He had a bit of a rough night, but he cracked on.
Yeah, and that's what we love to see is drivers fighting away, trying to get the most out of it. You never know what's going to happen ahead of you. You can obviously fight for some points at any sort of point on the circuit. Now we'll see if Miles manages to go through. He looked like he was going to carry on for the rest of the lap, so that's obviously good from Philip there. Now though, we've got Simon Price just coming through the final couple of corners now to try and set a time. Not sure if it's going to be enough to get ahead of Miles. It's probably going to be maybe just behind Jones, actually. You see over the line what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Just ahead of Jones.
8 tenths of a second, the difference there. Next up, Connor Hatfield for Spontex CDM Esports. Bit of a wobble out of the left-hander there. Car didn't look too comfortable into the final set of corners using all of the curb. It shows you the size of the curb here, and I love this angle, this camera angle. Really shows you the elevation. Look at that. The way that the banking then flattens down onto the start-finish straight, kicking up a bit of grass all the way down there is Connor. He crosses the line. Where does he put himself? Slots right into the middle, ahead of Simon Price and behind Philip Miles. Next up to cross the line will be Danny Weir. He's just coming into the chicane where we saw Connor have a little bit of an issue. The gap has definitely worked, hasn't it, Ed? We get a lot more airtime for each driver now rather than them quick-firing it across the line.
Yeah, obviously previously we only saw, well, a couple of corners on that last circuit at Zolder. Here at Zandvoort, we do get to see a significant portion of the lap around about the final sector for most of these drivers. As we see over the line, Danny Weir finds himself up in 5th place. Next driver I think we're looking for Martin Kenyon right now.
Yeah, he's got quite a lot of his lap left to go here. He's only about a quarter of the way round it at present. Others are on outlaps right now. Ben Chalcraft, John Tusting, Stuart Clark has just started his fast lap. Alex Fretwell has just gone back out on circuit as well. Martin Kenyon was unfortunate at Zolder. He was on for a really strong result and then had an incident. And, yeah, it sort of put paid to that feature race. He didn't really recover from there, did he?
No, which was a big shame because Flex and Sport were both really on for some super strong points, but that's just unfortunately the way that the race goes. Obviously, Sam Fitzpatrick benefiting from the reverse grid and all of the dramas that happened around him. Get through. I think he didn't benefit from the reverse grid, sorry, did he? He benefited from all of the incidents that happened ahead of him towards turn 1.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, unfortunately for Flaxen Sport is that they weren't really able to capitalise on that great opportunity to score points when the likes of Blade Speed were not really quite at it.
Definitely was the case. Martin Kenyon across the line then. Where does he end up going? Goes up to 2nd place. 2 seconds off the fastest time, but still, I know that he'll be pretty pleased with that one. Back to the DNA Motorsport car of Stuart Clark. His teammate Aaron Smith will be the last car out on track because he currently leads the Drivers' Championship. But Stuart has been quietly scoring points and quietly having a good time. He's got John Tusting next ahead of him in the championship order. We'll see John in just a moment. Stuart hugs it to the inside. It's intriguing to see the different lines the drivers are using around that final corner. Stuart crosses the line in the DNA car. He goes 3rd fastest behind Martin Kenyon. And here is the very pretty Mirage Sport car, the aforementioned John Tusting.
Yeah, I love watching this bit of the circuit where you just chuck it into the chicane and then you've got to hug it nice and tight, like your favourite grandma, as Crofty would say, and then really once more fighting the car all the way through, really, as you're trying to chuck it in at speed. Trying to keep a nice and tight line. He breaks the beam, and John Tusting's effort is good enough for the 2nd row of the grid, provisionally 3rd place for John, just shy of Martin Kenyon, but it's nice and tight, isn't it, this little pack that we're starting to come across in qualifying.
Yeah, it's more sort of how much can they chip out of Keogh's lap time. He's absolutely flown at the top Chalcraft next up. He usually qualifies well. He goes 0.8 of a second, well, 0.7 of a second clear of Martin Kenyon, and he moves up into second place. A solid lap by the Hikawa Racing driver. Next up, it's Alex Fretwell, the next of the EMKA cars. He and his teammate Danny Weir both loving the number 5 this season, cars 5 and 55. Funnily enough, they'd scored 5 points after the first round of the championship as well. Around the banking he goes. I love watching them from this angle. It just adds so much more speed and impetus to the shot as they rattle through. Across the line then goes Fretwell. He looked like he backed out a little bit. Yeah, 3.6 seconds down is all he can manage. He won't be too pleased with that lap. What about this man though, Ed? Fabio Grassetto. He's been certainly setting things alight this season.
Yeah, he's been right in the thick of it, and it was great to see him out there having some nice, good, clean battles at Zolder. See what he can muster at Zandvoort. Again, another driver that we often see has pretty strong efforts in qualifying. We'll see what the Italian can manage here as he's invalidated his time somewhere and has come straight into the pits.
Well, interesting way of admitting it, but into the pits he goes. So no time for Fabio Grassetto. He's going to have to make his way through the order from further down the grid. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Don't forget, only the top 10 score points in the sprint race, and it's the top 15 that score points in the feature race. So drivers need to try and play the game, and he's going to have to play the game and improve in the sprint race to get a good start for the feature. Jack Reeve goes second fastest, and what else did we expect? Jack has been fast all season, and that ever more proves it, doesn't it?
Definitely. Jack has been so strong this season in qualifying, and we'll see if he'll be able to convert that qualifying into a strong result. But of course, there are still some more drivers that we're waiting on to set their lap times. Matt Hoyland being the next driver that we'll be watching.
I love that
it's
way.
So wonderful to drive. So wonderful to drive, isn't it? Right the way through. The camber just helps you out so much to carry a lot more momentum into these tighter corners than you'd probably imagine on first glance.
Yeah, definitely. It's weird, again, just seeing the understeer of this car into the corner, but when it grips up, it really gets going. Hoyland crosses the line and surely goes second. No, he's behind Jack Reeve in third. It looked like he was on for second place there, but didn't quite make it work. Next up, Kevin Zemstra. Home race for him this season in the Mirage Sport car. What can he do? Well, he can absolutely kick his head in, is what Zemstra can do. Still no other purple sectors. It's looking like Thiago Marteau is about to make a hell of a debut. But what else would you expect from the Williams Esports driver? Round the final corner goes Kevin Zemstra. And across the line to try and go at least second, but that slide won't have helped him. He does go second, though. Very, very well done to Kevin Zemstra for second position. Just 0.8 of a second off the top spot. Next up, now we're getting into the big guns, aren't we? Lee Aberdeen next. Championship leader after the first few rounds.
Yep. A driver that we know is very quick, was the only driver that was really in touch with Kyo in practice. We'll see, of course, what Lee can manage now. Makes his way out of the final corner over the line. No purple sectors, so might not be enough to do any quicker than Kyo. No, 6.5 tenths. That's nearly an age.
That's big.
Years in these little Formula cars.
That is big gap. And we've got, as David Whitehouse has rightly mentioned, we've got some qualifying bans to take into account as well. Jack Werrell and David Whitehouse both having qualifying bans. Francois Brandet would have one, but unfortunately his PC died just the other night, so he's not able to take part here this evening. Across the line goes Sam Fitzpatrick. He goes fourth fastest. The reigning Formula 1 world champion goes 0.8 of a second off the top spot. And next up, it's action man Fraser Smith. Into the final couple of corners he goes. I love this onboard view, especially around the bank in here. It just looks so dramatic. What are you thinking, Ed? Second, third, fourth, fifth?
It might be enough for the front row. We'll see over the line what it'll be. I don't think that'll be front row, actually. That'll probably be fourth, fifth. My word. Not what we were expecting from Fraser Smith to be in fifth. We'll go from one Smith to another.
Championship
we'll
leader.
What they can create right now out of the final corner. Again, no drivers have been able to get any purple sectors off of Thiago Marteau.
What an incredible debut this is turning out to be from Keogh. Can Aaron Smith get on the front row of the grid? No, he can't. He only manages 5th fastest as well. And straight into the series and straight to the top spot goes Keogh Thiago Marteau. As some of us expected it and others expected it. But hats off to the man. He's done an insane time there, and he will definitely have his work cut out to play the game and obviously race against these guys here this season. He joins us just before the halfway point of the championship, so it's not going to be easy for him. But Aaron Smith, championship leader, starting 5th alongside his namesake, Fraser Smith, in 6th position. Just shows you that it's not all down to qualifying pace how this championship pans out.
Yeah, and it's astonishing that there's only one blade speed car on the front row, and it's not occupying that pole position spot, which we've been so used to seeing. Fraser Smith starting from 6th place. Lee Aberdeen, his teammate, is going to be a little bit more comforting to see him up at the front row to fight with Keogh. But, well, 6.5 tenths of a second. And let's not forget, it's not really a long lap around here, is it?
No.
It's like minute and a half. That's a huge amount of time.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing lap that by Keogh. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's similar to what we see in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. When you get a driver or a competitor that's right up at the top of the order, you don't get the people sat behind going, oh, witchcraft with torches and pitchforks. You know, you get the people behind that go, wow, I need to work on this and get that quick. You know, they see it as a yardstick rather than the obvious sort of, oh, they're cheating sort of thing. Right, we have 21 cars here this evening. Looking at the drivers list, we don't have Victor Oliveira, we don't have Chris Humphries, Rob Lundgren is not here tonight either. We wish Rob all the best. He's not very well at the moment. He's got an injury to his leg. Francois Brandet not here either. And there was another name, Christian Rose is obviously not here after having his PC die on him as well. Is there not a driver further up the order that we're missing? Just trying to figure it out. We've got Victor Oliveira, Chris Humphries, Rob Lundgren and Francois Brandet not here. I must be being stupid. Oh well. Right then, here's the grid. For the first race of the night, Keogh Thiago Marteau alongside Lee Aberdeen. Kevin Zemstra makes it 2 Dutch drivers in the top 3. Sam Fitzpatrick next up alongside Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith, with Jack Reeve and Matt Hoyland on row 4. Then it's Ben Chalcraft and Martin Kenyon. John Tusting and Stuart Clark make up the next row. Then it's Philip Miles and Connor Hatfield. Simon Price will start 15th ahead of Alex Fretwell, with Danny Weir alongside Michael Jones. Then we have the 3 drivers further back that did not set valid times, and 2 of them had qualifying bans, so it's not fair to tell them that. But we had Jack Werrell, Fabio Grassetto and David Whitehouse completing our field. The grid all formed up and ready to go here, Ed. What are you reckoning? Is there anybody that can challenge Keogh across the entire race distance? It's only a 15-minute sprint, though.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Lee Aberdeen's going to need to get a dynamite start and hopefully get up alongside in towards turn 1. Because of the cambered nature, though, it doesn't necessarily mean that by being on the outside, you're going to lose the position. You can carry all of that momentum and slingshot your way out of the corner to try and maintain it. It's another thing about Zandvoort is that it's a bit easier to defend around here because of the different sort of lines you can take and the ways you can compromise those that are trying to overtake you.
Here we go then, the revs will rise and round number 4 of the Formula CDM European Series gets underway, and it looks like a great start from the second row of the grid by Kevin Zemstra. Not a good getaway for Sam Fitzpatrick. He's having to defend from Fraser Smith down the inside. Aaron Smith tries to look past him as well around the exit of turn 1. 3 wide in the middle back there. Jack Werrell trying to push his luck as he tries to get away from those around him. He's got the 2 EMKA cars just in front, bit of understeer there, nearly 4 wide. Contact with Danny Weir, and Danny just ends up going sideways, but at the front it's Keogh Thiago Marteau, as we expected, opening this lap up with the lead.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from the Dutchman on home soil.
Lennart Schneebel, by the way. Lennart Schneebel is the other driver we're missing. I've just realised. It was the cross-development cars.
On home soil, really, really having a good time of it. I mean, if there was any circuit for you to make your debut, I imagine that if we asked Keogh, he would probably say Zandvoort.
Yes, most probably yes. It is, I mean, any Dutch driver will tell you that they love Zandvoort. I mean, it's a very well-loved circuit. It's a fantastic place to go racing. We've had Aaron Smith get ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick off the start, and now he is really putting Kevin Zemstra under pressure. A bit of a moment in the background there for Jack Reeve. He's going to lose a place to Matt Hoyland. Hoyland, blessed with the number 44, goes by on his right. Look at all this lot back here as Grassetto tries to make his way through the order. John Tusting and Jack Werrell are all in the mix as well. We'll go on board with Tusting as he gets down the inside. Robert Nielsen is celebrating being a Chas Draycott Media member for 3 months. Thank you very much, Robert. Good to have you on board, Sunshine. We're on board now with John Tusting heading down towards turn 1. Grassetto down the inside. Fretwell's gone deep. Fretwell's gone very deep, and off he goes. Off into the gravel under pressure from Grassetto, and that move as Michael Jones loses time there to Simon Price. I think Simon had a bit of a poor start and lost ground off the line. Look at Grassetto around the outside of Connor Hatfield. He knows he needs to get up there in the order, doesn't he? He really needs to get on with this, and he is pushing hard.
Yeah, pushing hard. Knows that the aim is to get inside the top 10. That is the reverse grid pole position. And then anything from there will be a nice bonus. The big championship points obviously scored in the second race of the evening, the feature, rather than this 15-minute sprint, shall we say. Doesn't feel like a sprint for some of these drivers, though. They put a lot of effort into it and they feel exhausted after the end of all of this racing wheel to wheel. Grassetto once more just trying to position his car in a clever space, but we'll come back to that later because we've got the race start to look through. This is Aaron Smith on the outside, revs rising, holding the clutch, getting ready to dump it, and then really clean getaway, isn't it, ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, just that bit better than Sam off the line, and then goes to the inside to cover it off as well. Hope you all like that new transition, by the way. That took me all day to work on to get it to work in the iRacing overlay. Thank you to Pascal at SDK for putting up with me and my rubbish all day. I've been on it since about 8:30 this morning. Lee Aberdeen, well, he's going to feel like Kevin Zemstra's been behind him since 8:30 this morning. Kevin does not back down in putting pressure on drivers. Finds himself in a red car for the 4th season under the CDM banners. But he too has got pressure from behind as well. Interesting now, isn't it? It's like the entire order has just shifted downward because Thiago Marteau is checking out.
Yeah, he is, well, gotten out as quickly as you like. Now they got 1.3 seconds, and Lee's almost certainly going to be shifting his focus rather than looking at the car ahead or looking at the multiple cars in behind him. He's got Kevin Zemstra first off, but then Aaron Smith and Sam Fitzpatrick waiting in the wings. Connor Hatfield sideways, not where you want to be on a racing circuit, but gets it facing the right way without anyone collecting him, which is good to see. Let's just have a look at how it happened. Was it maybe a touch of the grass on the inside? On the curb, it was already unsettled. The curb just unsettled it even more. Held the brakes though.
I tell you, that is a scary place to be. Oh, actually, to be fair, Philip Miles got ahead of him before the incident. Apologies, it was John Tusting that went by after him. This'll give us a good idea of what Connor did. You can see he just touches the grass there. It just goes once and then twice, and he does an amazing job not to hit anything there. And Tusting ploughs on past it. He's got Werrell up behind him right now, trying to take advantage. And then David Whitehouse as well. 5 places gained for both of the Derrington Francis cars so far this race. Bit of a battle behind there. Danny Weir side by side with Simon Price as they head into turn 1. Bit of a kiss there on the back of the car in front as Philip Miles has gone around. He's going to have to think about that rejoin quite clearly now. Bit of action kicking off here in the sprint race. Jack Reeve now under pressure from Matt Hoyland. These two fighting for 7th and 8th. Fabio Grassetto still just outside the top 10 in 11th place, but he's gained 9 spots from when this race started. So with just under 2/3 of it left to go, I reckon he's in with a good chance of being in the top 10 here, Ed.
Yeah, he's got to dispatch of Martin Kenyon now though. Flexen Sport car inside the top 10. That's a good thing with Flaxon Sport so far this season, is they've both been consistently scoring points, both drivers, which is going to help them out in the championship. Same can be said, of course, for Blade Speed and Lee Aberdeen and Fraser Smith, although I think if memory serves right, their championship lead took a pretty hefty dent, wasn't it, after all of the incidents and accidents at Zolder as Fabio pushing very hard, dipping a couple of wheels into the gravel, but not too much to cause any major concern.
Werrell's just had a drama, his second drama of the day. Simon Price has just had a meatball flag as well. This is how Whitehouse got past his teammate. Jack seemingly going slowly on the outside. And then David goes through. But then after this, there was further drama. I'm not quite sure if Werrell's got something going on. I mean, look at them tucked together, the two teammates. Not sure Werrell wanted to be overtaken by his teammate. Then into here, I think there's an issue that then catches up with Simon Price just behind. Oh, he's clipped the gravel and around it goes. Simon had nowhere to go. And that has broken the front right suspension of Simon Price's car. That is a big, big shame.
The front left suspension of Jack Werrell's car, both of them coming into the pits to repair damage. Obviously, they don't need to have any mandatory pit stops here, so that's going to really hurt their aspirations tonight, because they will also be starting from the back of the grid in the second race of the evening. It's why you have to have such a good, clean first race of the night, because it can set the tone massively for the rest of the evening. Speaking of getting a good position for the second race of the evening, Fabio Grassetto now up into 10th place, managed to dispatch of Martin Kenyon in the last 2 minutes.
We'll have a look. Gives me a chance to use my fancy replay transition. It's down into turn 1. Martin goes into turn 1. Does it just go a bit deep? Oh, that'll be why. What a save, Martin. What a great save indeed. That went round very quickly, and he stamped on all the pedals, took a screenshot, and the car carried on. But I tell you, that would not have been comfortable for Martin. That's the sort of save that gives you massive cramp in the back of your calves.
Not comfortable either for Grassetto, who had to watch all that unfold and think, oh, is my night going to end already here with that car having a moment just up ahead of him with such close proximity. If it did go wrong for Martin, there wasn't really anything Fabio could do, so it was really great that they all managed to get through with that unscathed. I mentioned excellent car control from Martin, just locking the brakes to sort of settle the momentum of the car, stop it snapping, just lock it, slow it down. Sure, your tyres will be absolutely shredded, but it'll be much worse than shredding through your front wing, rear wing, and needing to get it repaired.
Yeah, you'd rather tyres be shredded than bodywork on the car, that is for sure. Now, on the external view, these three look a lot closer together than they just did on that rear view then from Aaron Smith's car. We've got Sam Fitzpatrick and Fraser Smith both chasing down the championship leader. These are actually the top three in the championship, currently running in 4th, 5th and 6th. Fabio Grassetto has continued on his charge through the order and has not now gotten past Ben Chalcraft. There's a big send up the inside by Sam Fitzpatrick. Completely uncharacteristic send that by Sam, and now Fraser Smith ends up alongside him as they head into the next right-hander. I don't know how Sam kept that on the road, to be honest, and he's now kept it down the inside. They've got to be careful of running into each other here. Nearly wheel-to-wheel contact. Fraser Smith is going to get the run on the exit. But what was that by Sam?
It was... I don't know if it was it an intentional over? Was it he accidentally outbroke himself and went to the inside to avoid contact? No, he definitely goes to the inside to make the move.
Aaron does a good job to avoid it, really. I think Aaron wanted to turn in and sort of prove the point, but then, yeah, he managed to just about stay out of it. But that was lively by Sam Fitzpatrick. We don't often see him do things like that. As Grassetto has... Oh, no, he's undone his hard work. Fabio Grassetto, I was just going to say, he was swapping positions, but he's had a spin. Oh, dearie me. It's all gone wrong for Grassetto. After a great start, he'd gained 11 places from 22nd on the grid. He's just on the grass. Oh, that tiny millimetre of it. Oh, them tyres are going to feel like squares now, aren't they, Ed?
Yeah, the car's going to feel like absolute backside for the next minute or so, while the temperatures as well normalise. Everyone's having a bit of a drama now. Connor Hatfield off the road, getting back up and rolling to racing speed. Grassetto's got 4.5 minutes to try and re-undo all of his mistakes to get back into the top 10. Martin Kenyon's going to be very grateful to have that, though, obviously. It would help him out massively, that top 10 reverse grid. There you give him a chance of redemption from Zandvoort Zolder knew I'd make that mistake at one point tonight.
Easily done.
Thiago Matteau, though, look at this. Easy, smooth sailing out in front.
Lee Aberdeen's having a good race as well, though. Let's not take that away from him. He's having a really good run. He's the only driver that can really hold a candle to Keogh at the moment. And Lee is showing us exactly what he needed to show us after having the incident with Aaron Smith back at Zolder, which cost him big, because not only did it cost him points in the sprint race, but it cost him grid position for the feature as well. And in that feature, he also had incidents there. So this is exactly what he needs to be doing right now, is just having a clean race on his own, no messing about with any other drivers around him. He may be in second, but he'll only be 3 points down on Keogh Thiago Marto. And based on the fact that Keogh has joined us only just in the first half of the season, it's not really anything that Lee needs to worry about at this stage with the pacing and the consistency that he shows.
Yes, definitely. I think he can afford to allow Mr. Marteau the time out in front. But himself, actually, they're both of them kind of stretching away from the rest of the field, aren't they? So Kevin Zemstra's now the one that's needing to defend from the cars behind. Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith, well, they're going to be trying their best to get past. And then Sam Fitzpatrick as well. After that, or should we say, gutsy move to the inside that didn't quite come to pass.
Yeah, gutsy is definitely
himself in sixth place, and they will probably take that after a little bit of a scary moment which could have ended in tears.
Look at the understeer.
Horrific, isn't it?
It's so weird. I remember when the car first got announced as the car for Formula CDM, Kevin Zemstra messaged me and he said, I've never driven an open wheel little car like this that has so much understeer to it. Fraser Smith down the inside, he actually said that the understeer was impressive for a car like this to have that much of it. Fraser now not mucking about, and behind Aaron, he is really putting the pressure on. This is exactly what Kevin Zemstra will want, though. He'll want to take a podium at his home circuit. He'll want these guys to fight behind him as Fraser fights with the wheel once again, ducking this way and that way. But again, similar to what we've said before about other drivers, Fraser can sometimes be his own worst enemy. If he pushes too hard here and overdoes this, Sam Fitzpatrick's the only one that's going to benefit from it. Aaron Smith moves to the inside, covers off the inside line. Fraser makes sure that he's not got all the room in the world here. He stays in the middle of the road. They all come back over to the outside line. Fraser's going for it all the way around the outside. Sam wants a bit of this as well. Great battling by these two and now three as they carry on side by side into the next right-hander, who's going to have it into the hairpin. Fraser's going to keep his nose down the inside, but the longer, wider line working for Aaron Smith there. And Sam Fitzpatrick now gets to take advantage.
Yeah, Sam, you could tell he was just waiting, trying to choose which horse to back in that battle, and then deciding to really take advantage of the slowed Smith. That's the Fraser Smith, not the Aaron.
Yeah, which of the Smiths did he want to pick?
Yeah.
A or F?
If that turns out, he backed A, and, well, nearly managed to get one over on the F.
Managed to... no, there's a joke in there somewhere, but I would never get it right. David Whitehouse, all over the back of John Tustinger, who's all over the track at this point. These two battling together for 13th position on the road. Whitehouse has had a good recovery from where his race started down at the back of the grid after the qualifying ban. We need to look at Fabio Grassetto. He's just gotten ahead of Ben Chalcraft and regained that 9th position that he had before. So in the last few laps, Grassetto has done good things and gotten back to the front of the order. Keogh Thiago Marto has just started the final lap of the race. It's another fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:28.645, as these battles continue a bit further down.
Yep, they're still at it. Fitzpatrick and Fraser Smith. Hello. There's this lovely bit of the circuit which allows the cars to fight two abreast all the way through. Sam Fitzpatrick. There's a little bit of a check up on the inside, and we thought there was going to be contact earlier on in this race from a very similar moment. This time there is, but I think Sam, credit to him, backs out of it, doesn't want to take the position as a result of contact. He doesn't mind about the aftermath, though.
Yeah.
He's going to really try and go for it beyond that point, but I think for me it looked like Sam backed out of that one a touch.
Yeah, he just understeered wide into him, couldn't do enough then to get out of it. Fair play to him. As he now looks back down the inside, he says, go on then, I'll stick my nose back down the inside, see if he's scared of me understeering again. Fretwell's had a drama further down the order, unfortunately. But now,
we're going to look at our race leader because Thiago Marteau. Oh no, David Whitehouse is off. Oh, he's back on. Thiago Marteau was always going to make a splash in the Formula CDM European Series, and he's been the utmost professional off the circuit, and he's just shown us that he's the utmost professional on it as well. But we already knew that. Thiago Marteau wins in his debut in the Formula CDM European Series and takes a win on home soil here at Zandvoort. Lee Aberdeen finishes in second in the sprint race. Next up, it's Kevin Zemstra for a podium on home soil as well. Aaron Smith next up. Fraser Smith just beats Sam Fitzpatrick to the line. Matt Hoyland has a bit of a lonely race in 7th ahead of Jack Reeve. And Fabio Grassetto gets his 9th position, and Ben Chalcraft will get a second chance on the front row of the grid. He was on pole position back at... Sorry, he was second on the grid. He was on the front row of the grid back at Zolder, but he gets another chance to do it again. Whitehouse finishing behind John Tusting. Stuart Clark finished where he started. The only other drivers that finished where they started were the 3 eventual podium finishers. But Thiago Marteau, what a start to a campaign that is, Ed. Brilliant, brilliant race from him. Absolutely flawless.
Yeah, I gotta say as well, cracking job from both of the Dutchmen here tonight, Thiago Marteau and Kevin Zemstra. Really at home here at Zandvoort, and bodes very well for the upcoming race later on tonight, where even more championship points are on offer. Credit as well, actually, to Fabio Grassetto, up 11 places from where he started as a result of his invalid qualifying lap. Thought for a moment, after a mistake earlier on in the race, that he'd be just shy of that reverse group pole position, but fought hard to get back up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really solid stuff that. Thiago Marteau takes the race victory from Lee Aberdeen and Kevin Zemstra. Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith complete the top 5 ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick, Matt Hoyland, Jack Reeve, Fabio Grassetto and Ben Chalcraft. Next up we have Martin Kenyon in 11th with Stuart Clark 12th, followed by John Tusting, David Whitehouse, Danny Weir, Connor Hatfield, Philip Miles, Jack Werrell, Simon Price and Michael Jones and Alex Fretwell were both a lap down in the end. We will have some updated championship points as a result of that as well, so if you bear with me, we can get the data in for the next race. Let me just see. Let's get this in. See if this works, because we had issues with this last time, didn't we? But this is how the championship should stand now. Yes, after that race. Nobody moving any positions, interestingly enough. We have Aaron Smith now over 100 points. He's the first driver to get 3 digits on the board this season. Fraser Smith remains in second ahead of Lee Aberdeen, who actually does move ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick now, so I'm not quite sure why it doesn't show a position change there. Kevin Zemstra finds himself in 5th ahead of Matt Hoyland. Bit of a gap from Martin Kenyon to Danny Weir a bit further down there, but I'm sure that we will see gaps like that disappear in time. Well, we've got the warm-up session now, which goes on for 10 minutes. Ed and I are just going to take a quick break here on Chaz Draycott Media, but we will be back with you very shortly, and you can enjoy this warm-up session without us for just a minute while we go get a drink. And I can't believe I'm saying this, I'm going to go and strip off a bit because I'm absolutely baking. I had my heating fixed today, and yeah, let me tell you, I'm not used to commentating in an Audi with the heating on, so bear with us. Ed and I will be right back.
Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the Formula CDM European Series from Zandvoort. We've had a first sprint race of the night, and now the drivers are gearing themselves up for the 40-minute feature race. Now, Ed, we have a few changes to tell the wonderful people at home about after the previous round of the championship at Zolder, because we got caught out, didn't we, by the fact that some of the drivers could pit at the very beginning and then go to the end of the race.
Yes, obviously we mentioned the earlier phase of the broadcast, but now the cars are limited in their fuel tanks. Before there was no limit, now there's I believe it's a 75% limit. So the final 25% of the fuel tank is going to be empty, which will force the drivers to make a pit stop, usually around about after 8 or so laps have gone in the race.
Yes, they have been asked
the 15-minute mark
to pit after at least the end of lap 8, basically. No pit stops before that, unless mandatory due to damage, will be allowed, basically. The drivers probably won't be able to get to the end anyway if they do pit on lap 8, but the 75% limit really opens up the fuel window, so they will get anywhere up to about 25 minutes into the race on the fuel they've got now, but also if they fuel early, they can go all the way to the end and have a long stint afterwards. So just keeps it nice and interesting and opens up a bit of strategy to it all as well. Some people want to pit early and get out of traffic, but we know that in the real world you probably won't be pitting on lap 1. So it just stops people from taking the mick with it that way, and means that it's not possible to pit on lap 1 and make it to the end. I'm really loving this circuit though. It's great to watch these cars flow around this. We enjoyed it during qualifying, but just through this warm-up, seeing the guys really throw the car at the circuit with no consequence, as we've seen, it's very entertaining.
It really is, and I think even that first race, while it was only 15 minutes, it was still very entertaining. The little battle we saw between, if it was Fraser Smith, was it Fraser Smith and Fitzpatrick? That little tussle they had in the dying embers, the final 5 minutes really, they were going side by side at various different points. Does bode very, very well for the rest of the racing we'll be expecting this evening. Of course, got the reverse grid to contend with. Going to see Kyoto Yamamoto.
Oh, God. Oh, that made me jump so much. I was just going to bring up the graphic and show you all the lovely calendar that we've got, which will show you the rest of the season. And just as I looked away, there was this almighty bang. For God's sake, Stuart. Oh, that's scared. Oh, my God. I nearly smacked I use a stream deck to switch between all these things on our stream. I nearly smacked it off the desk. Christ alive, Stuart. That was terrifying. Anyway, we'll go to Hockenheim next week. That'll be a laugh because there's no undulation there at all like there is here at Zandvoort. We then go to the Hungaro Ring, Red Bull Ring, and then Imola to round out the season. We'll bring you the grid then for the second and final race of the night, the feature race. Ben Chalcraft starts on pole position alongside Fabio Grassetto. Will his hard work from earlier pay off? Then it's Jack Reeve and Matt Hoyland, Sam Fitzpatrick and Fraser Smith ready to continue their fight, Aaron Smith alongside Kevin Zemstra, with Lee Aberdeen and race 1 winner Kyo Thiago Marteau. Martin Kenyon will start next up alongside Stuart Clark. Following them is John Tusting and David Whitehouse, Danny Weir and Connor Hatfield, Philip Miles with Jack Werrell, who's hoping to get more out of this race because he had damage in the first one, Simon Price, Michael Jones and Alex Fretwell will complete the field. I'm pretty sure Fretwell said earlier that he'd basically not done any practice, and his first lap, was his qualifying lap. So that's why he was a bit further down the order, to say the least. We're about to get going, though, Ed. Any quick guesses on this one?
Grassetto's going to be quick. He really had to shoot up the order, didn't he, in that first race of the evening from the tail end to get where he is. Expect to see him get a clean getaway and probably harass Ben into turn 1.
Here we go then, the feature race at Zandvoort in round 4 of the Formula CDM European Series gets underway, and again it's a poor start for Sam Fitzpatrick. Fabio Grassetto straight down the inside of Ben Chalcraft into turn 1. Looked like Hoyland tried to send it down the inside of Jack Reeve as well. Looks like there's a car or two around at the back. There's a couple of them, John Tusting, Philip Miles and Danny Weir, the cars that have lost out. It's side by side for the lead with Grassetto around the outside of Chalcraft, and he gets the lead. It's a 1-2
for Wave Racing Tech straight off the bat. They're all clumped together in the middle here. Look, Sam Fitzpatrick side by side with Lee Aberdeen. Thiago Marteau is sort of watching this go on in front of him as they all get over the top of the hill. It's going to be pretty scary down there. Big understeer from Fraser Smith, and he just holds on to that position ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick, or does he? Because Sam carries a lot of speed around the outside. A very busy first lap this one, Ed. Flipping heck, I'm nervous.
Yeah, Sam carried a lot of speed around the outside, but then just got boxed in behind. I think that was Ben Chalcraft just up ahead, who's having a really tight time. Ben falling down through the order like a stone. He's just been thrown off of line, and that's completely killed his momentum and rhythm in this opening lap. He's got Kevin Zemstra there just getting through at him, and now he's off the circuit. Needs to be careful on the retry in.
Oh, dearie me.
Not really the start that Ben Chalcraft was hoping for. Sam Fitzpatrick as well, actually losing positions on the restart as well. Just got stuck. I think mainly he got stuck in behind Ben Chalcraft, which is why the pair of them just started falling down the order. Well, start though for Grassetto and also Matt Hoyland, the teammates out in front.
That was Kenyon. Kenyon in the background there, moved all the way over to the wall, and there was contact with the wall. I don't know if it was Chalcraft or if it was Whitehouse that was fighting with him, but they went all the way over. I was just about to say about it being a 1-2 for the leaders, but there was a move there on Martin Kenyon, I'm pretty sure. It was just before all this. Oh, we're going to have to go quite far back to see it, unfortunately, by the look of it. Or is it here? Let's try. I'm sorry, I'm going to flick between these. Yeah, Whitehouse gets a run on Kenyon. Kenyon comes all the way over, and he just keeps going and puts him in the wall. Really, really scary moment, that from Kenyon. That could have taken them both out of the race, you see. He needs to mind out with that. But it's Grassetto and Hoyland. 1-2 for Wave Racing Tech at the moment. And then we've got Fraser Smith, Jack Reeve, and then Aaron Smith once again with cars piling in behind him. But this time it's Lee Aberdeen.
Yeah, Lee Aberdeen managed to get up 3 places from the start. Now going to try and set his sights on Aaron Smith. The 2 Dutchmen close behind, though, Lee, right now. All the 3 drivers, Lee Aberdeen, Kevin Zemstra and Thiago Marteau, made up the podium last time. Well, at the first race of the evening, rather. Will they make the podium here tonight as well in the final race of the evening? We'll see. Firstly, they've got to get through Aaron Smith. Lee Aberdeen's going to try his best to go all the way around the outside. Slingshot his way out, but really staunch defensive driving there from Aaron Smith. Just to hold his line, keep the speed, keep the momentum through the corner.
Feels like such a backwards.
Well, it's a great effect.
Feels like such a backwards corner there, doesn't it? Because you've got to go so up high and wide to get around it at the best possible speed. You just want to turn in and go for the tightest line. That's how racing corners normally work, but not here. Side by side, Connor Hatfield and Jack Werrell. Werrell's gained 3 places from where he started. Fretwell just in front of him in the EMKA car has gained 7. He's had a really good start to this race from the back of the grid. He'll just be hoping to try and score some points here in this second race of the evening. This feature race offers points all the way down to 15th position. So there's more opportunity here for drivers. Fretwell was actually defending there and has somehow ended up turning it into an attack. Stuart Clark now is side by side with Jack Werrell. There's some great battles going on all the way up and down this order. And these guys are squabbling over the final points positions while these guys are scoring some big points in these places further up. Jack Reeve out of shape.
Yeah, Jack needs to be careful here. He's got Aaron Smith really piling the pressure on. Doesn't want to get caught up in an accident because he's on track for some really strong championship points. 10 minutes have gone so far from this opening race. No, sorry, 5 minutes have gone, from this final race. Jack Reeve does get overtaken by Aaron Smith. Once more, the 2 Smiths nose to tail on the order.
Yeah.
Been pretty much inseparable for most of the season, and that seems to have carried through into tonight as well.
Absolutely. Inseparable also, the 2 Wave Racing Tech teammates as well. Fabio Grassetto and Matt Hoyland first and second at the minute. They'll be really pleased with that. They're right up there in the Teams Championship as well, coming into this evening. They're third in the Team Championship, although some 51 points off of Blade Speed Esports. They'll be setting their sights on the likes of DNA Motorsport in front of them, but even behind Cross Development, Mirage Sport and Flaxen Sport, all 4 teams only separated by 13 points. So it's very, very close behind. And at the end of the day, with how these meetings go, it can quickly swing one way than the other.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about just trying to maximise everything from the feature races in these. The first race, as long as you're in the top 10, you've put yourself in a good position to score some big points later on, but it's more about the safety in the first race of the night, which is why we often see drivers race a little bit harder with each other when there's more on the line in the sort of main event of the evening. Here, Thiago Marteau not having sort of blistering pace in terms of moving up through the field, but he's kind of stuck in the slipstream train here, isn't he? Not really able to gain too much on the straight line behind the likes of Fitzpatrick, because Fitzpatrick's getting it off Zemstra, is getting it off Aberdeen, off Reeve. It goes all the way up to Grosseto and Hoyland, who lead the way.
Yeah, the whole top 9 separated by 2.5 seconds. It's back to Formula 1 standards, this. It's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, there's a bit of a stalemate with these cars and how much slipstream they can get and or give. So at the moment, I think Thiago Marteau is just playing a smart game, and a few of them are similar to what we used to see in Formula 1. As Sam Fitzpatrick looks down the inside of Kevin Zemstra, goes for the move. Kevin has to go wide. That's going to upset the pack a little bit here, and Keogh sees an opportunity, looks back down the inside of Sam, tries to make the move. It's funny, actually, the amount of time I've spent commentating with Sam on Keogh is quite atrocious. And at the moment, it's just funny to see them both on track right next to each other. But look, Keogh, he's playing the long game here. He's not overdoing this. He knows there's strategy involved in this. He knows it's a long race. He's showing us exactly why he is a professional and races for Williams Esports. You know, he's not making silly moves. He's not throwing the car down the inside at every opportunity. He's not forcing his way to the front. He's playing the long game, and that's what you have to do on these nights. As both the Blade Speed Esports cars duck out this way then the other. Sam Fitzpatrick looking down the inside of Kevin Zemstra. Has to back out of that there because Jack Reeve was losing time and space, and now Jack's going defensive. This is a bit sketchy, Ed.
Yeah, it's very, very tight, very scary stuff. And all the while, you mentioned Keogh's been very careful. Sam Fitzpatrick once more getting wheel-to-wheel contact through that corner. Getting ahead of Kevin Zemstra there. He had a little bit of a shaky moment there to Zemstra.
Well, Sam had to go somewhere, and there was wheel-to-wheel contact, and I think Kevin got lucky, but Kevin didn't really leave enough room over on his on his right-hand side for Sam to occupy. But now Jack Reeve is, I hate the phrase cork in the bottle, but it's the best way to describe this. Jack is the one that's putting in the slowest pace of these guys, and well, he's now been overtaken by Lee Aberdeen, who's able to take off up the road. Same with Aaron Smith, who's going after Fraser Smith. And now Jack is just doing his best to hold on, but we've seen how fast Jack is. He was rapid in Formula 1. And he's showing that here in this car as well. He's very good at handling it. He's very sideways a lot of the time, but you know, he's got pace to go with it. 4 different teams here all together. And it's a good battle to keep an eye on. But at the front, Grosseto, he's loving life right now. He's not exactly getting away, but he's having a good time.
Yeah, and with obviously what you were mentioning earlier, just the lap before about Keogh, he's been very careful, obviously not trying those silly moves. He's, I think, very aware that time is on his side. He's got half an hour of the race remaining, and the race leader isn't that far ahead in all the grand scheme of things. What is it, 3 seconds between Grosseto and Marteau? Roughly that, about 4 seconds now.
Yeah.
Still, that is pretty much nothing in terms of the race and the amount of pace as well that Keogh has at his disposal. Opening towards the pit window now, aren't we, Chaz? Around about 8 is when the drivers are allowed to make a pit stop. We'll see if any drivers opt to go for an early stop, or if they'll go maybe for a later one, go for an overcut rather than the undercut.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm intrigued by that because they do have the opportunity to get out of this traffic, but at the same time they won't have a lap with slipstream, so they'll need to watch out. Sam Fitzpatrick goes down the inside of Jack Reeve. He's now got to defend from fellow red car driver, and doesn't he know it, Kevin Zemstra. The 3 of them absolutely nose to tail, has to back out of it slightly there, into the right, then the left. Nearly gets a scrape on the nose of the Mirage Sport car. But I think that Keogh knows that he's fast enough in the clear air that he can outdo these guys, and he can just sit behind, save a bit of fuel, extend his first part of the race, and go from there. Fraser Smith, by the way, has taken second place from Matt Hoyland. We'll have a look back at that in a moment if nothing happens here. Hoyland stays in a straight line, gets a fantastic overshoot on Fraser in towards turn 1, but then goes too wide into that hairpin, and Fraser Smith is going to be home and dry, and Aaron Smith is now going to come back down the inside. Hoyland goes deep into the right-hander but manages to keep it all together. It's kicking off behind as well between Jack Reeve. Kevin Zemstra's lost places and lost time as a result. Hoyland now side by side with Lee Aberdeen. He's been absolutely freight trained this lap as poor old Hoyland. He's not old, but poor Hoyland.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's you get thrown offline around here, and because Zandvoort is such a flowing circuit, if you get that flow interrupted, you're just a sitting duck. We'll see. This is Jack Reeve and Zemstra earlier side by side.
Oh,
it seems like Reeve went a lot higher on the corner than I think Zemstra was anticipating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, innocently ran wide into him. Nothing, malicious about it at all. There never is, because at the end of the day, if you do anything malicious in these cars, it's just game over for both of you. But yeah, that was unfortunate that for Jack Reeve. Danny Weir, I'm afraid, has had an issue. We'll have a look further down the order at what's happened to Danny. He's had a spin here at the hairpin. Oh, it sounds like he's got issues anyway. Sounds like he's got issues with changing gear. Look, the wheel's disconnected. You could just see it go full left then. So that's gone. Thiago Marteau is now ahead of Jack Reeve, but he puts the car in the middle of the road to defend from the Brit, to make sure that he's got nowhere to go with the slipstream that he's used, and Keogh's going to hope to use his pace to get away. Martin Kenyon is the first car to make his mandatory stop of the race. It's a very interesting pit entry here at Zandvoort. You go from doing 8 million miles an hour to about 5, and there's not even a long run behind the barrier before you slow down. You literally slow down where the barrier is. I wanted to show Alex Fretwell on screen, because despite him doing his first lap of the entire season here at Zandvoort, in qualifying earlier, he's gained 10 places in this race so far, and he's having a good old run of it. Martin Kenyon has completed his pit stop, and he's the first driver to do so at the end of lap 8. And we'll see where he ends up a little bit later on. Fabio Grassetto continues to lead though, Ed, although he's not completely out of the woods here, is he?
No, he doesn't, and he no longer has his teammate backing him up. Matt Hoyland has been overtaken by Fraser Smith, Aaron Smith and Lee Aberdeen, all in one fell swoop. So now it's down to Grassetto without any help to keep them all behind him. Well, easier said than done.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. The three drivers behind, Smith and Aberdeen, have all won races so far this season as well. So, yeah, Fabio is the only one of the top 4 that hasn't won a race yet. Anyone coming into the pits? No, I thought Jack Reeve was, but no, he's just moving all the way over to the right. Zemstra continually moving over to the right as well, proving a bit of a point there, I think. Around the outside he goes. Nice bit of momentum carried there by Kevin Zemstra. He's going to use that line around the edge to carry the speed out and make the move. Alex Fretwell is under pressure from Jack Werrell. Werrell hoping to just pick up some points tonight after a difficult time at Zolder. He had that controversial incident with Francois Brandet. He got a qualifying ban for that. And then in the first race earlier, he unfortunately received damage after the contact with Simon Price. That put him out of contention. But he's on for some championship points right now. He's on for 4 championship points if he finishes where he is. And it'd be good to see my mate Jack get some points on the board. Jack is a real-world motorsport commentator, son of the wonderful Mark Werrell, another absolutely exemplary commentator that's been doing this a long time now, and it's lovely to see Jack continuing on the family trade of speaking wise words. I mean, he talks rubbish most of the time, does Jack, but he turns it on when he needs to, bless him. We've both worked with Jack quite a lot as well, actually, haven't we?
Yes. It's great to see Jack out on the circuit. He's actually local to me when I was at university in Lincoln, from roughly the similar neck of the woods. He's done one of the few bits of commentary over at Cadwell Park as Jack, so it's great to see him now out and about in the sim world again on Straight Computers. Danny Weir is, I think, trying to get out of the way of everyone else that was getting past him there. Sam Fitzpatrick now into the pits, the highest placed driver so far. to make the mandatory pit stop, and it'll be interesting to see if he comes out into clear air or if he's going to have a little bit of traffic to deal with. Alex Fretwell coming in as well. We were just watching him a little while ago.
Here comes Sam then.
Sam, he's going to come out just behind Connor Hatfield. Not necessarily clear track for Sam.
Oh no! Smith is off. Lee Aberdeen is off. Lee Aberdeen is in the wall. Lee Aberdeen has broken the rear of the car, and that is going to be game over, I'm pretty sure. You don't want to drag that all the way back, Lee. Trust me, you don't want to drag that all the way back. That is very, very sideways. Matt Hoyland was the one that originally went off here. Oh, they were side by side, and they're all battling together. So Aberdeen down the inside of Smith. Smith turns in. Contact between the two, and then Aberdeen, he's had a monster of a spin, and then it doesn't stop once it's going backwards. I mean, the car rolls very nasty back onto the middle of the circuit, doesn't it? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I know Zandvoort is on the beach, but that is some severe crabbing there.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of one you'd be familiar with here as Lee Aberdeen. Just, the revs just peak massively. I don't know if he's trying to recover it, and then it...
Well, he gets on the grass, and then...
Misjudged. Yeah.
That's what kills it, but... Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for Aaron in that, but yeah, because Lee got the overlap very, very late. The one that managed to get away from all of it, though, was actually Thiago Marteau, wasn't it? He managed to get ahead of all of these guys. This incident just, well, it just all starts in front of him. I think Lee was focusing on Matt and then ends up down the inside of Aaron. I don't think he wanted to go for the move. And then Keogh they just disappear around him. By the way, Fraser Smith has now taken the race lead as well from Fabio Grassetto. Lee Aberdeen, after an incredible start to his season, it is all just going downhill now. Oh, look at that by Fraser. He goes one way, then the other on Grassetto into the first corner. The two of them are absolutely together, but Fraser gets a lovely exit, and he's going to get that completed into the next corner. Fantastic stuff. Ooh, Grassetto very sideways there. Fraser uses the speed around the outside to hold on to that race lead. While his teammate sits in the pits with a damaged car, Fraser leads. Thiago Marteau has suddenly appeared in third position here, Ed. What a run he's having.
Yeah, and that's the mark of a good driver, is they know when to pick their battles, and it's, some may say, good fortune with all those incidents happening in front of him, but it's about picking sort of your way through the incidents, getting through them unscathed, and basically seeing them before they happen, which was what Keogh was able to do. Didn't really force the issue at any point, and now sees himself up into third place, closing in on Fabio Grassetto. Fraser Smith is going to try and hope that Keogh has a tough time getting past Fabio, and that'll allow him to streak away with the remaining 20 minutes, or 21 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, just getting into the second half of this race. Right now here on Chaz Draycott Media, you're watching the Formula CDM European Series from Zandvoort. This is the fourth round of the season out of 8, and this is our feature race, the 40-minute feature race with a mandatory pit stop. Drivers have already completed a 15-minute sprint race ahead of this. That was won by Thiago Marteau, the driver in third position at the minute. He was reversed back onto 10th on the grid for the second race of the evening and has been recovering from there. We've got Sam Fitzpatrick now ahead of Aaron Smith on the road. Aaron took his mandatory stop at the end of the lap where he had the incident, so he has now got that done and out of the way. He's got some, I believe, no, he's not gone for tyres, I don't think, because he was only in the pits for 5.7 seconds. Sam was stationary for 7.7 seconds. Everyone else has been stationary for 5. So Sam, hoping that 2 extra seconds in the pits means that, Grassetto has just been done for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh dear. That is going to really kill his time, isn't it? Because he's going to spend so much stationary. Is it about 40 seconds?
Yeah, it's a massive, massive penalty, unfortunately. It's ticking up as we speak. But this is what I mean, though. You go from about 160 mile an hour to nothing. You've got to stop there. And that is way too hot. It's worth practicing, and it's one of those things that when you're in the session you don't think to practice the pit lane entry, but it's definitely worth doing. But I was going to say, Sam Fitzpatrick hoping that, 2 extra seconds in the pits isn't offset by the pace that you can carry by being on fresh rubber at the end of the race. We saw it in the first round of the season, didn't we, that Aaron Smith actually took fresh tyres and he was flying in the later part of the race. So it's interesting to see that scenario is now flipped on its head.
It is going to be exciting to see, well, this time Fitzpatrick against one of the other Smiths. Aaron closing in this time on Sam. Just keeping an eye on the gap between Fraser Smith and Thiago Marteau. Staying roughly at about the 1.8 second mark. Fraser Smith looks like he's coming into the pits. Yes, he is. Careful again on the pit entry. Not doing a Grosseto, which is always good. Zemstra, though, coming in. So does Reeve. So does Hoyland. This is where a majority of the field appear to be making their mandatory pit stop, apart from Thiago Marteau, who's carrying on as long as he can.
Interesting that there was a lot of people on the brakes and kicking up smoke on the way in. Kevin Zemstra being one of them. He has picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Michael Jones has also got a black flag. He's just served that in his pit stop. 48-second stop. Watch this for Zemstra now. He's got to sit there, and while all these other cars come in and out and go, he's got to sit there. He's going to be there for another 10 seconds yet. His teammate John Tusting coming in the background, and any second, well, even he's actually still got 10 seconds now. He should go in 3, 2, 1, and about now. Zemstra gets moving. He'll be devastated. He's behind his teammate. Danny Weir seems to be doing some sort of hardware test on his wheel, by the way. He's got some sort of issue with it. Jack Reeve has come back out of the pits ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick, which is quite intriguing. Sam is wasting no time in getting back down the inside, though, sending it on him straight off the bat. Side by side they go, in towards the hairpin. And this is all going to play into the hands of Hoyland, who's behind and ahead of Aaron Smith. But Hoyland managing to survive after the incident earlier on. This is turning into a right belter of a race. Grosseto down in 14th position now as race leader Thiago Marteau comes in.
Yeah, Marteau to the pits. We'll see where the likes of Fraser Smith will be on the pit exit. Already Marteau is up and rolling. Fraser Smith making his way just past Marteau now. Has actually Fraser Smith been able to build out a little bit more of an advantage? Seems to be the case. Could be roughly about 2.5 to 3 seconds, that gap, as Sam Fitzpatrick goes, well, the long way around and, well, off the circuit.
I think Reeve made contact with him there. I think Jack just came over and tapped the left wheel of that Flaxen Sport car. He came all the way over. There may have been a bit of netcode, but Jack knows how these things work. He's going in towards the middle, and then he comes back over, and then there, just a tiny little touch. And not a huge amount of space was given there to Sam Fitzpatrick, and Sam will feel a bit hard done by that one, especially now as it's put him into the clutches of Aaron Smith. So the battles are well and truly on now, Ed, with still 16 minutes, more than a sprint race distance left to go.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a very exciting final 16 minutes worth of action here on Chaz Draycott Media. Wasn't necessarily, if I'm okay to admit it, expecting too much from the racing here at Zandvoort. It's quite a narrow circuit, very sort of one line and flowing. It's great to hot lap, but racing I've always found quite difficult. But these little Formula cars, the Indy Pro 2000s, well, they're certainly giving us a treat, aren't they? And, well, the drivers are certainly doing their fair share of it as well to put on a show. Alex Fretwell trying to defend from Werrell. 13 places, Fretwell. That's a really impressive drive, isn't it?
Yeah, he's having a lovely, lovely time. We'll have to come back to him in a minute as Hoyland has gotten past Jack Reeve into the first corner. Jack is not scared about getting close to drivers, is he? We saw this in Formula 1. He actually caused me a bit of an headache in the steward's room, did Jack, eventually. But he's not changed that at all here, as Werrell has now gotten past Alex Fretwell. But no, Fretwell says thank you very much. I'll have that back as we exit turn 1 and regains that position. Lots of lovely battles going on here because Martin Kenyon is now fighting with Stuart Clark, who's, well, it looks like he's coming out of the pit lane. He's that far down the inside, still can't make it work for 10th place.
Yeah, that is. I thought for a minute he was coming out the pit lane. It was just glanced over and he was suddenly crossing the white line. I was like, hang on a minute, that's a bit cheeky. What are you doing that for? I was like, oh, hang on a minute. No, he was already on the circuit before then. Stuart, Clark, and like I mentioned, Martin Kenyon tussling away.
Bit of a gap now.
Yeah, well, they were fighting, and now they've kind of settled the differences. It looks like these two, though, nothing's settled between the pair of them. Jack Reeve and Aaron Smith coming to blows.
Sam Fitzpatrick, sorry.
Yes. And Jack Reeve coming to blows.
I don't know why Jack was weaving his wheel like that. It's definitely Sam had his nose down the inside and Jack turned in as if he wasn't there. Similar story to what we saw in Formula 1, unfortunately. Jack, just keep it calm. Don't do anything silly.
Round 2.
Yep.
But the thing about these cars is that if you do get overtaken, you've always got a chance to fight back in the next couple of corners or after the next straight because of how strong the slipstream is. Like you're about to mention, I think, Aaron Smith waiting in the wings should anything happen between these two. I mean, it nearly did earlier on in the lap.
It did, yeah. Aaron Smith, championship leader coming into this as well. He is the only driver coming into this race with more than 100 points. And I'm sure that he will want to hold on to that advantage. Fraser Smith out front hoping to take his second race victory in 4 races. He won the sprint race back at Zolder after an incident between this man that we ride on board with now and his teammate Lee Aberdeen. It really blew the field open. We look here at Martin Kenyon, who's fighting with Stuart Clark, and whoa! Stuart is off the road and he's clipped the barrier. David Whitehouse is involved in that as well. Stuart unfortunately dropping a bunch of places as a result there, as Grassetto is around just behind them. And Fabio, what was that? I think Fabio tried to do some sort of donut or something there. And then it's already gone. He lets it roll backwards. That's kind of good, actually, because it makes it predictable. Then I think he tries to light it up.
Oh.
And he just drives into the wall. He's had the fast repair, and he's going back out, I think. No. Doesn't look like it. That is a big shame, that, for Fabio. Sitting on pole. Definitely had the... Well, sorry, he was second on the grid, wasn't he, from Ben Chelcraft?
Yes.
But he had the race at his disposal, and unfortunately it just hasn't come to fruition for him.
Just one little moment of frustration, I think, that's not really been his... I think it's just more frustration at the way the night's gone, not necessarily any one thing, because obviously the pit lane speeding penalty is what's basically killed any aspirations and strong points tonight for Grassetto, and then from there another little mistake. While it is a minor one, it's I think just about trying to get the rears lit up. That didn't happen. Into the barrier. It's fair to see why you'd likely call it a night at that point. Just one frustration after another, and shame, but hopefully we'll see him out and fighting in the next time at Hockenheim.
Yeah, Hockenheim should be quite good. I mean, it's not one of the circuits that I particularly enjoy hot lapping, but I tell you, it is certainly a great circuit for racing. It's like Paul Ricard. You don't want to drive around there on your own too much because it's just boring. But if you go racing there, it's absolutely fantastic to go racing at. Still amazes me that we don't have it in iRacing, actually, Paul Ricard. I think that will be quite the popular circuit if it ever arrives in the sim. Just seems like one of them that you'd expect it to be in the sim. I really had to second guess myself, but we don't have it in iRacing, do we?
No, we don't.
It's crazy.
Not really in many sims, actually. I think it could be a licensing thing, maybe. I'm not 100% certain as to why, because it's not really present in many sims at all. Is it in Assetto Corsa Competizione?
It's in ACC. That's where I
think it's in some of the F1 games back when it was a destination on the F1 calendar, obviously because of the partnership between Codemasters and Formula 1 management. But from there, it's not really been in any other licensed or any other sort of sim racing titles.
I imagine the organisers are just being typically French and difficult, so that's probably what it comes down to.
Manicourt exists in iRacing.
Well, true. And Manicourt is one of the most pain in the backside circuits in the world to get to as well. It's probably easier to get to Mars than it is to get to Manicourt. I swear to you, it is absolutely... I thought Aragon was bad because Aragon's a 3-hour drive from Barcelona Airport, but it's a lovely drive at least. It's like going to Red Bull Ring, 2 hours from Vienna. Beautiful drive, so you don't mind it. But
Manicore, flipping heck. It's like driving through about 4 hours of Norwich in the rain. Oh, and it's just... And then even when you get there, it's still in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, Fraser Smith and Thiago Marteau are in the middle of nowhere at the moment. These two are miles ahead of the rest of the field, 10.5 seconds clear of Hoyland, and the battle begins for the race lead here at Zandvoort. Thiago Marteau sideways out of the first corner, wanting to take both wins on home soil here tonight at Zandvoort. Sam Fitzpatrick is side by side with Hoyland as well for third place, and he's trying everything he can to get past the Wave Racing Tech car to wave him goodbye, but it's not working just yet, and Hoyland holds on to his position closely. Fraser Smith now has Keogh looking down his inside. Now this is going to be a fantastic clash between these two. I'm very, very excited about this one, and at the moment I think that Fraser is the man with the utmost confidence here, up against the utmost professionalism of Thiago Marteau. Intrigued to see what these guys can do.
I don't want to speak it into existence, Chaz, but so far this season we've not had a driver win both the sprint race and the feature race. Is Keogh on his first outing in a championship, in addition to the pole position that he got at the start of the night?
Ooh, potentially.
And what a statement that would be if that was the case on his debut, to do something that no driver has done so far this season. He's going to the outside now for the lead of the race. Fraser Smith and Thiago Marteau wheel to wheel. Nice tight squeeze onto the apex by Marteau, but Fraser, he's wise to it. He opens the corner out on the exit, has the confidence that the room's going to be afforded to him on the exit, and he's just able to get the run out of the corner to hang on just barely to the lead of the race.
Incredible, incredible stuff. And the two of them still stick together very closely. Keogh is putting that car absolutely everywhere he wants to, but Fraser has the pace and has the ability to defend this up to now. It's just a case of can he withstand this all the way till the end of the race. These are fragile little Formula cars. All it takes is one little bit of contact for this to go wrong, and look, he's trying to trigger the spotter. He's trying to keep his nose down the inside, is Keogh. Luckily for Fraser, it's a very obvious car behind him with the neon yellow wheels, the neon yellow strikes on it. There's the neon yellow helmet as well. But still, the chase goes on. Loads of gravel on the inside there that the drivers need to be careful of. But Marteau hoping to get 2 race victories in one
Touch the gravel,
sitting.
that's going to slow him down.
Yep. There's the slipstream kicking in. Fraser can only do one thing now, and that's stick to the inside.
Yeah, Marteau is not forcing Fraser tight on the inside, so they're both going to, well, naturally move over to the left-hand side of the circuit, and once more, Fraser Smith on that inside line, he's able to hang on. So, what's Keogh got up his sleeve for the rest of the lap? Is he going to have to try something different when they come to that portion of the circuit next time around? Once more, he's just really filling the rearview mirrors, like you're mentioning, trying to trigger the spotter, putting his nose anywhere he can to make sure that Fraser is having the worst time possible while leading the race.
Yeah, it's really, really close stuff. And somehow Fraser holds on. We've got a similar battle as well. Hoyland and Fitzpatrick are right together. Connor Hatfield a bit further down is under pressure from Kevin Zemstra. Kevin trying to just gain a few more championship points where he can. In fact, we will watch this down into turn 1. As Zemstra goes through on the inside, Connor tries to squeeze him. Kevin gets the job done before the next corner, as Fitzpatrick has finally dispatched of Hoyland, has he? Just about into the hairpin, but Matt's going to have a run now down into the chicane as well. This is great fighting up and down the order.
This is excellent. Everywhere we look, there's battling. Sam Fitzpatrick now trying to defend from Matt Hoyland. Matt actually having a decent race, isn't he, so far, after the incident we saw him involved with earlier. To fight there and stay up there, and it's pretty good going. Fraser Smith not as hassled this time by in towards turn 1. 5 minutes remain for Thiago Marteau to try something else. But He is buzzing around and harassing every single second that he can with Fraser Smith, just forcing any sort of mistake, any error, hoping that will be enough. Meanwhile, well, side by side, they continue to go, and Sam Fitzpatrick's probably going to be longing for the days where he can get through first sector of the lap uncontested. Look at that, though, from Aaron Smith, taking advantage of a slow Matt Hoyland there, right the way around the outside, slingshot his way through the corner.
Yeah, Hoyland will not be happy to have been caught out with that one, but it's nature of the beast. This is fantastic battling, though, from these two at the front. Oh, no, Connor Hatfield. Connor Hatfield has had a drama and has ended up in the pit lane. Thiago Marto finally gets far enough alongside to go around the outside into there on Fraser Smith, but Fraser's got so much pace that he is managing to hold the Dutchman at bay. He's stopping a Dutch driver from becoming the first ever driver to win both races on the night in Formula CDM at home circuit as well. It's not often that that's going to come back around, considering that this is the European Series. After this, we've got the likes of the Americas Series, the Oceania regions, we've got the British Series as well, and the World Series, so it's very unlikely we'll be back at Zandvoort for a long time. Fraser Smith, he's making sure that he remembers his trip to the Netherlands, isn't he, Ed?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be getting any souvenirs from it, though. He's hoping that the souvenir he'll be getting is a first place from this in a huge haul of points for himself in his championship fight, especially considering, well, his teammate and championship rival, Lee Aberdeen, not really scoring anything significant, really, after tonight. All the way down in 17th is Lee Aberdeen. He's just sort of all by his lonesome, really, unfortunately. Thiago Marto. Oh, there's nothing lonesome about these two, are there? They've stuck together nose to tail for the past 15 minutes, and looks like that'll be the case for the next 2.5 as well. But great job from Fraser to withstand the pressure, because Keo's been trying everything, hasn't he? Just forcing noses up the inside, letting him know he's there, and Fraser's just not showing any signs of cracking.
Yeah, the two of them doing fantastic jobs, but you have to commend Fraser's mental fortitude here to have not cracked. He's still got 2 laps to go here, and I'm sure he's hoping it's a bit of a repeat, but in a way he's probably not, because Keo is just getting more and more pressurising. They go all the way over to the left. Keo's got a good run this time, though. Can he get it done this time? Still wheel to wheel, and as they exit the first corner, Keo actually remains alongside this time. Fraser's got to give him the room. Keo's got to do the same. There's a bit of a disagreement on the way into the corner, and Fraser manages to carry the speed around the outside, and he's got a good run as well. Keo a bit shaken on that exit there.
Yeah, Keo, the rhythm has just gone from him there, and it's again just about Zandvoort. As soon as you get thrown offline, if you just try and get back up to speed, it's not just the car doesn't really like it, it's just everything about the car and the way that you drive it just becomes off balance. You're a lot slower, and you can drop back quite a substantial amount, around about half a second, that Kia lost just from that little wiggle coming out of the corner onto that one flat out section of S's. Got this battle to watch as well. This is for the final podium position, currently occupied by Sam Fitzpatrick, who's on a decent run of form, is Sam, actually, from these races. The features where he's been scoring some very, very strong points and keeping a potential championship charge alive. Into this, I believe Sam Fitzpatrick was, I think, 3rd in the championship, wasn't he? Just behind Aaron and Fraser Smith. Won't obviously be able to close in too much on Fraser, but certainly able to bring the gap down to Aaron, as long as he finishes ahead of him in this race.
Well, to be fair,
now, white flag for these two.
It did, let's not forget, it did swap round. Lee Aberdeen just moved ahead of Sam Fitzpatrick after that first race of the day, but that will certainly be a gap that's now extended after that. Lee is working hard, actually, on trying to get past Connor Hatfield, and if he can get past Connor, then he'll grab 1 championship point, which is not the night he would have been hoping for. But this is the battle we need to keep an eye on. Fraser Smith and Thiago Marto, these two absolutely together. One more, well, half a lap in the books for these guys. Fraser has done so well to hold on up to now, And I think Keogh has actually taken fresh tyres, you know, and Fraser has not, because Fraser was in the pits for 1.4 seconds less than Keogh. He knows he needs to make a move now on this final lap, but he's been very fair in his attack here, isn't he, the Dutchman? Right together as they come into the next braking zone. Fraser Smith once again on the inside. Keogh once again around the outside. Is this the lap where he gets it done? He's going to understeer on the inside, surely, with 2 corners left to go. They're absolutely side by side. Fraser Smith has the favoured line, though, into the final couple of corners. And I don't think the overlap was completely gone, but Fraser Smith has held it out of the final corner. It's going to be a run to the line, and I'm pretty sure that Fraser Smith is going to get it. Keogh's going to close him down, but Fraser Smith wins the feature race here at Zandvoort in the Formula CDM European Series, although he had a meatball flag come the end. Just noticed that, so that will probably give the win to Keogh. That's going to be contentious. As across the line, Hoyland beats Aaron Smith to the line. Oh, mere thousandths of a second separate them. Flipping heck, what a fantastic finish.
A meatball flag for what his car looked completely fine. That was... It wasn't crabbing or anything. It wasn't like it was an incident point penalty. That would have shown up as a black flag.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to be...
I can feel a headache already.
I don't want to be a steward or even have to figure out what's going to
Fretwell,
but that is interesting.
Fretwell gained 13 places in that race. Werrell gained 9. A great drive from him. Looking at Kevin Zemstra, who unfortunately got done for speeding in the pit lane. And then we move back to Lee Aberdeen. Whitehouse gets some points. Stuart Clark and John Tusting as well. Lee Aberdeen is going to get the final point scoring position after his incident earlier on with Aaron Smith. It's certainly been feisty so far this season, but that doesn't even begin to cover it here in the last couple of rounds of the championship. Aberdeen 15th, just ahead of Connor Hatfield. Michael Jones crossing the line in the background there. But we have Fraser Smith, who takes the victory on the road here ahead of Keogh Thiago Marteau. And as Sam Van Olster's rightly said, you have 3 laps to serve the meatball flag. But what happens if you don't serve it? We'll have to keep our eye on it when... I'm not sure if you'll get a penalty for that.
I don't think it gives you a penalty. Because I think it's 3 laps and then you get a penalty, but it's not like a...
Yeah. Intrigued. Very, very intrigued.
Or is it 3 laps and then you get DQ?
Yes.
It's a DQ for a meatball, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you can't carry on in the race with a car that's considered, damaged to a point where it's not safe. But if you finish the race with it, then is that considered all right? I don't know. Interesting. Alex Fretwell, he'll be really happy with that. His first lap around this circuit in this car was during qualifying tonight in his hot lap. And he ended up gaining 13 places in the feature race. Same with Jack Werrell with 9 places gained. He will be over the moon. This is the moment of truth then to see what the sim decides is the result. And it does indeed give the win to Fraser Smith. And I'm, no offence to Keogh Thiago Marteau, because it would have been a great feat to win both races on your debut. But I'm really pleased to see that for Fraser because, oh my God, what a defensive drive that was. That was absolutely unreal by Fraser Smith. Great victory. His first feature race win of the season. Keogh Thiago Marteau finishes second. A great debut for him. Sam Fitzpatrick, more big points there in third place. Hoyland eventually just finishes ahead of Aaron Smith. Look at that. Just 12 thousandths of a second between the two as they cross the line. Jack Reeves scores good points in 6th ahead of Ben Chalcraft 7th. Alex Fretwell will be very happy in 8th ahead of Werrell and Zemstra. Then it's Martin Kenyon, David Whitehouse, Stuart Clark, John Tusting and Lee Aberdeen completing our point scorers ahead of Connor Hatfield and Simon Price. A lap down was Michael Jones, and the drivers that did not finish were Fabio Grassetto, Danny Weir and Philip Miles. Now, you may all have to forgive me for a moment here because, as you've all seen and as I've mentioned a few times, I have gotten very excited about my new graphics. And what we may do, let me just check this. Do the points work? This is the first part. There we go. there is the championship. And would you look at that? 1 point between Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith. Sam Fitzpatrick moves back ahead of Lee Aberdeen. He now has 100 points to his name. Jack Reeve moves up, and look at that from Keo Tiago Marto. 55 points in one night, moves up 6 positions. Leonard Schneebel not here tonight, so he drops down 2. Martin Kenyon moves up a couple of places. Christian Rose understandably dropping down, now he is out of the championship. And Werrell, scoring 10 points, gets himself on the board. Now what I was going to mention was the graphics. I'm going to switch back in time here, and hopefully this doesn't look completely awful. No, it will do it. There you go. I did wonder if we'd get through the full transition with without seeing the replay changeover, but it is what it is. Now we're going to see which drivers we can have a chat with, and I tell you what, actually, I want to speak to Fraser Smith, who will join us in the box. Fraser, I mean, I'm sweating buckets because I've had my heater fixed today, but I tell you, mate, you must be sweating more buckets than us. What a defensive drive, mate. Well done.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. Do you know, I said before the race, I said if I'm racing with Keo, I'm not going to get into a battle. And
yeah, that went well.
You know, I worked so hard to get to the front, and I knew he was going to catch me. I could see that Aaron and Lee were both further back, so I thought, just take the P2. And then, yeah, I thought I'll try it for a few laps. And then I looked, and I thought, I've only got 5 laps to go. Just keep going. So, yeah, crazy.
You must have been quite relieved as well that the sim was kind to you with that meatball flag at the end, because, I mean, it was very unkind of it to give you that for such small contact, wasn't it? We've seen it before, though.
Yeah, it was all right. The car was absolutely fine. I watched it back, and I was ahead, and I did come across a little, but last corner, I didn't really expect it to be as close as he was, really. But I don't think I got DQ.
No, the sim has put you ahead still in the results, so it's all good. Otherwise, I would have. I think I would have campaigned for you to keep that result either way, because I think that was unfair of the sim. But still, you know, the form has certainly taken off now. We've just finished the first half of the season, and you are 1 point off the championship lead. How do you feel about that?
1 point. Brilliant. Yeah, do you know, I have to say a massive thank you to Kevin, because I had problems at the start where I didn't have a clutch. He's taught me the cheat code, and and since he taught me as like a payback for taking me out at Mangy. So he gave me the little tip, and ever since then it's been much better. So I'll dedicate it to him.
Well, it was a fantastic battle to watch all that through, Fraser. It was lovely, lovely stuff, and obviously a massive well done from us here. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, I know a few of my mates are watching, my dad's watching, and yourself and Ed for broadcasting. I'll watch it back soon.
I hope you enjoy it, and let me know how fancy the new graphics are as well if you enjoy them. Thanks as always, though, Fraser. Great to speak to you, mate, and we'll hopefully speak to you again soon.
Hopefully next week.
Cheers.
See ya.
Fraser Smith there. I imagine quite relieved after that one, to be fair, Ed, because he had to work hard as we see him now overtaking Fabio Grassetto, but good God, that was a defensive drive, wasn't it?
It was, it was certainly a stressful evening for Fraser Smith, but got the reward at the end after one heck of a defensive drive. And I would have been with you, Chaz, campaigning for Fraser Smith to keep the race victory, because I don't see why he would have gotten the meatball flag. And to be fair, I don't even think in official motorsport regulations there's like anything written in rule books about meatball flags being served at I think it's the final marshal post he would have gotten it, so I don't know if he would have actually seen it to come in the pits.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He was coming over the line, so
he'd have come across the line with his middle finger in the air.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, I imagine this guy did as well, actually. Mr. Werrell, welcome to the box, mate. You were in such a good place to, well, make the most of that first race and get some points, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But you must be quite relieved to have the second race go your way.
Yeah, I mean, evening guys. I feel like I finally found my mojo. Obviously, Manicourt was Manicourt. That's just how things go. Zolder, the less said, the better. And tonight, I was just chatting with Danny. Apologised like straight away, and he went, "Mate, have you watched the replay?" I went, "No, not really." He went, "The netcode. You were like 3 foot away from him." I shuffled into Danny, and he, we're all good there. And then the feature race, just Yeah, tried something new, and it worked, I guess. Finally, good to get some decent points on the board. Yeah, I don't know. I just hope this is the beginning of a pattern, really.
Well, fingers crossed that it goes your way for the remainder of the season. We've now finished, obviously, the first half of it, and we know that we didn't have you for the very first round, but it's been a bit trialling so far, hasn't it? Is there any rounds that you've got your eye on moving forward?
Not really. I'm working on a round-by-round basis, purely just to keep myself sane, really. No, I'm just taking it as it comes. Now, I think tonight has left me in a really good place, sort of, for the next rounds. And yeah, fond memories of Zolder will definitely be coming with me tonight, or of Zandvoort, pardon me. Just because, yeah, enjoyed it. Had a great fight with Fretwell post or pre-pit stop, post-pit stop. He just disappeared up the road, and then that annoyed me. But other than that, no, a good night all round. Yeah, can walk away happy after tonight, and like I say, hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Well, we look forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes for you, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
You two, for sure, and the mother-in-law for, without fail, every single week coming upstairs going, "Are you doing this again? It's rattling my house apart."
Fair play. Well, great to speak to you as always, Werrell, and we'll hopefully speak to you soon, mate.
Cheers, Chaz. Cheers, Ed. Good night.
Cheers.
Jack Werrell there. We've all been there, haven't we? We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately the downside of having your rig upstairs. A good friend of mine, Dan McCauley, was taking part in, I think it was the Porsche Esports GB thing when I was last up at his house in Scotland, and I remember sitting downstairs. I was watching it on TV with his girlfriend while he was racing upstairs, and oh god, the noise was unbelievable from a direct drive rig. So I get that. I totally understand it. I'll tell you what. Sorry, Ed. I'm just going to drag him straight in because we need to have a chat with him. Mr. Hoyland. Hello, sir. You must be quite happy after tonight as well. Some good points on the board for you there.
I was busy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was all a little bit manic. Yeah. Great night. A couple of stupid moments from me where my ego wouldn't let me allow one driver past, which then meant I let other drivers past. But yeah, I had a great time. Nice fighting with the top guys again for a bit, and yeah, got some decent points out of it. I'm really happy.
Well, it's been an interesting first half of the season, to say the least. Some very different circuits from one round to the next. How are you feeling about the second half of the season? Are there any tracks there that take your fancy?
I would love to say yes or no. I haven't actually looked at the calendar, to be totally honest with you. I am assuming that they're in Europe, since it's the Euro Series. But
well, we've got Hockenheim next week. Then we've got the Hungaro Ring after that, which I know everybody loves as much as I do.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Red Bull Ring, and then Imola.
Okay, so Hockenheim and Imola, yeah, definitely. The other two, not so keen on. Imola, I'm a big fan of. And I think it will really suit these cars because they're quite nippy. So Hockenheim will be fun, big towing opportunities. It's going to be really difficult to defend there. So the complete opposite of today, really. It was quite easy to keep people behind for a while, just sticking to your line. But Hockenheim's definitely going to be the other way around. So maybe we'll see a completely different dynamic.
Well, we look forward to it, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to while we've got you?
Yeah, just shout out to Fabio. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. I know we were 1-2 for a moment there and I got all excited, but it wasn't to be. Aside from that, shout out to Danny and Martin. Been in chat with them this evening. I know Danny's had a nightmare. I think his wheel might be on its last legs, so he was a bit fed up. So hopefully he'll get it fixed for next week.
Fingers crossed, mate. Great to speak to you as always. Well done on the points, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much. Catch you later.
Matt Hoyland there, having a really, really solid night tonight, and yeah, more points on the board. He's been a bit surprised by his own pace this season, hasn't he, Ed? He's been really chuffed with how the car's been going.
Exactly, and I mean, why wouldn't he? He's been really mixing it up there and fighting alongside his teammate as well. Grassetto didn't have the best of races, but it's certainly been coming on pretty strong in terms of pace-wise for Wave Racing Tech. Both of the drivers, they just need to be able to combine it into a relatively incident-free weekend, or not really race weekend, is it? It's a weekday, but easier said than done.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been another very interesting night in the Formula CDM European Series. Luckily, no controversy with a meatball flag for me to worry about this evening for Fraser Smith. But Thiago Marto makes a hell of a debut here in the championship, and Fraser Smith takes his first feature race win of the season. That's the end of the first half of the season here. In a week's time, as you've heard, we'll be going to the Hockenheimring in Germany. Really excited for that one. Should be an interesting circuit for these little cars. But for now, thanks to all the drivers, thanks for all the partners and supporters of the series, thank you to Ed, and thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in a week's time. Have a good one.
Yeah.